Alex scoffed at the local legends, whispering shadows, vanishing hikers. It was all folklore, nothing more. He was a journalist, a man of logic and reason. He didn't believe in ghost stories. But something about the legend of Blackwood Forest drew him in. Was it the thrill of debunking a myth, or was it something else, something deeper? Blackwood Forest had an ominous reputation. Locals whispered tales of hikers venturing in, never to be seen again. They spoke of eerie whispers carried on the wind, beckoning travelers deeper into the woods. The forest was a place of shadows and secrets, a place where reality seemed to bend. Alex was determined to uncover the truth. Armed with his camera, recorder, and a healthy dose of skepticism, he prepared to enter the heart of Blackwood Forest. He was ready to expose the myth of the whispering shadows. He would prove that fear itself was the only monster lurking in those woods. The stories were always the same. Hikers venturing off the marked trails, lured by an unknown force. Then silence. Their belongings would be discovered scattered along the path as if they had simply vanished into thin air. The local rangers dismissed it as wild animals or disorientation, but the whispers persisted. One particular story sent chills down Alex's spine. A young couple, deeply in love, had wandered into the woods. They were last seen by a group of birdwatchers, smiling and holding hands as they walked deeper into the forest. Days later, their camera was found. The last photo showed a distorted image of the couple, their faces contorted in terror, with shadowy figures lurking in the background. The image was unsettling, to say the least. Alex tried to rationalize the stories, to find logical explanations. But the more he heard, the more he felt a knot of unease in his stomach. He couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss in Blackwood Forest. The air was thick with humidity as Alex stepped across the threshold of Blackwood Forest. The sunlight struggled to penetrate the dense canopy, casting long, eerie shadows on the forest floor. The silence was almost deafening, broken only by the occasional chirp of a bird or the rustling of leaves. It was as if the forest itself was holding its breath. Alex took a deep breath and started his trek. He followed the main trail, careful not to stray. He documented every step with his camera, narrating his observations into his recorder. He tried to sound confident, but even he could hear the tremor in his voice. As he ventured deeper, the forest seemed to close in around him. The shadows grew longer, the air heavier. Alex couldn't shake the feeling that he was being watched. Every creak of a branch, every rustle of leaves sent a jolt of adrenaline through him. He pressed on, determined to uncover the truth behind the whispers. But the forest had other plans. The whispers started subtly. At first, Alex dismissed them as the wind whistling through the trees, but as he went deeper, the whispers grew louder, more distinct. They seemed to come from all around him, whispering his name, beckoning him forward. Then came the shadows, flickering movements at the edge of his vision. Alex would spin around, camera at the ready, but there was never anything there. He started to doubt his own senses. Was the forest playing tricks on him? One evening, as dusk began to settle, Alex swore he saw a figure standing at the edge of the woods. Tall and slender, cloaked in shadows, it seemed to be watching him. He blinked, and the figure was gone. Alex's heart pounded in his chest. He was starting to believe the stories. Blackwood Forest was no ordinary forest. It was alive, and it was whispering to him. The deeper Alex ventured, the more unnerving his discoveries became. He stumbled upon a clearing, bathed in an unnatural silence. In the center lay a scattering of objects, a backpack, a compass, a child's stuffed animal. The belongings of past hikers, untouched and undisturbed. Alex felt a chill run down his spine. He recognized the backpack from a missing person report he had read. These weren't just stories. People had vanished in these woods. As he examined the clearing, he noticed strange symbols etched into the trunks of the surrounding trees. They were crude and abstract, yet undeniably unsettling. He'd seen similar symbols in his research on ancient folklore, symbols associated with forgotten deities and dark rituals. The forest was revealing its secrets, and what Alex was uncovering was more terrifying than he could have imagined. One night, as Alex camped beneath the oppressive gaze of the forest canopy, he heard something that made his blood run cold. It was a chorus of whispers, louder than ever before, but this time, they were chanting. The chanting seemed to be coming from everywhere and nowhere at once, echoing through the trees. He grabbed his camera and followed the sound. The chanting led him to a secluded grove shrouded in an unnatural mist. As he entered the grove, the air grew heavy, charged with an unseen energy. The chanting reached a fever pitch and the shadows around him began to swirl and coalesce. Then, he saw it, a swirling vortex of shadows taking a vaguely humanoid shape. It pulsed with a dark energy that seemed to suck the life out of the very air. This was no trick of the light, no figment of his imagination. This was the source of the whispers, the entity that haunted Blackwood Forest. The whispering shadows were real. Panic surged through Alex as he realized the true nature of the forest's darkness. This wasn't just an investigation anymore. It was a fight for survival. He had stumbled upon something ancient and evil, something that didn't want to be found. As he backed away from the shadowy figure, he felt a searing pain in his arm. Looking down, he saw a series of thin, bloody scratches, forming the same strange symbol he'd seen on the trees. He'd been marked. The chanting intensified, and the shadowy figure lurched towards him. Alex knew he had to escape, to get out of the forest and warn others about the lurking evil within. But the forest seemed to conspire against him. The trees seemed to reach out with grasping branches, the undergrowth snagged at his feet. He was no longer the hunter, he was the prey. The whispering shadows were hunting him. Days blurred into nights as Alex ran for his life. He was disoriented, exhausted, and terrified. The whispers followed him relentlessly, taunting him, herding him deeper into the heart of the forest. He had long since abandoned his equipment, his only focus on escaping the clutches of the shadows. He tried to retrace his steps to find his way back to the trail, but the forest seemed to shift and change around him. Every path led to a dead end. Every turn brought him closer to the chilling presence of the whispering shadows. He was trapped in a labyrinth of his own fear, a prisoner of the very entity he had sought to expose. The line between reality and nightmare had blurred, and Alex was lost in the abyss. Weeks later, a search party found Alex's camera and recorder abandoned near the edge of Blackwood Forest. The footage recovered was deeply disturbing. It showed Alex's descent into the heart of the forest, his encounters with the unexplained, and his growing terror as he uncovered the truth about the whispering shadows. The final frames of the footage were the most chilling. They showed Alex, eyes wide with fear, running towards the camera, pursued by a swirling mass of shadows. Then, static. Alex was never found. Some say he was swallowed by the forest, another victim claimed by the whispering shadows. Others whisper that he's still out there, lost in the woods, forever haunted by what he saw. The truth, like the forest itself, remains shrouded in mystery.